it's no secret that positivity and mindfulness are important when it comes to achieving your goals, but shifting your mindset is often easier said than done. This morning, author Katie Horwitch joins us to discuss her new book, Want Yourself, and share some tips as you begin your own journey of self-discovery. Good morning to you, Katie.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Austin.
I love it so far.
We're so happy that you're here. And let me just tell you, Katie, we were talking, of course, before the show. I opened up your book this weekend expecting to just like skim through it, just learn a little bit about you, but I could not put this book down. You truly are so captivating in the way that you have written this book. It's so conversational and just inspiring in a way that will make sense to anyone, really. Like it was something that I was able to sit down and talk with my husband about and talk with my family about when I went to go see them over the weekend. So tell us more about yourself, Katie. And
oh my gosh, you're making my morning right now.
Yes. Well, trust me, you made my whole perspective just kind of change. So we'll get more into that. But first, tell us about Want Yourself and what really inspired you to write this book.
Yeah, so Want Yourself, Shift Your Self-Talk, and Unearth the Strength in Who You Were All Along. This book is a culmination of almost 2 decades of work that I've been doing.
Wow.
Writing about, speaking about, researching about, generally obsessing over this self-talk thing. The story we tell ourselves 24/7 about who we are and how we walk through the world, and why so many of us say that we want to shift our negative self-talk, but it's so hard to do so.
Yeah, it really is. And, I feel that we are our worst critics, right? We are going to talk so down to ourselves that we're going to say things to ourselves that we normally wouldn't say to our best friends or our loved ones or anything like that. And why is it that we feel that we can talk to ourselves this way? And how do we go about shifting that negative self-talk to a positive mindset?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because different things will have us believe that we could just like replace a negative phrase with a positive one.
Right.
But research actually shows that if you don't have a seed of belief in what you're saying to yourself to begin with, then a form of cognitive dissonance is going to happen where you're actually going to feel worse about yourself because then you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself, and that's not going to feel good. But self-talk, I like to talk about it a little bit more pragmatically than maybe people who are watching have heard about it in the past. It's actually more like a language that we learn over time, that we become fluent in. So it's about learning this language not just in our heads but out loud, and starting with what's underneath it all, which is actually the self part of self-talk.
And that you talk about that a little bit in some of the chapters that I read, and it really stuck with me, to learn how to unearth yourself. And that's what you mean by that, is digging deep within yourself to all the different layers to really change that negativity, right?
Exactly. I love the word unearth because I feel like it's such a feely word. It brings up emotions. But a lot of times we'll hear, you've got to find yourself and love yourself. But finding yourself, it's actually not a search out there. It's a dig in here, figuring out who you are, what you believe, what's underneath all of the stories that you might be telling yourself. Because self-talk isn't inherently good or bad. It's information. So what's that information? And then moving forward from there.
Yeah, and these are all the things that you'll be able to learn about when you read Katie's book, Want Yourself. And like I said, I feel like it's such a great read that it makes it really quick to read through each chapter, but to be able to sit after each chapter and really just like meditate on the things that you've said and just hone in on the tips that you provide as well. Because like I said, you go through and you're sharing like your own personal stories in this book, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I struggled with mental health issues, eating disorders, body-related disorders throughout my late teens, early 20s. And anybody who is out there watching who's maybe gone through a similar thing knows that it's not about the food, really. It's not about the body. It's about something deeper. And this was in the early 2000s. The conversation that was happening around mental health was not as robust as it is now. And so I really took that lens on myself and said, okay, I need to figure out how I got to this place where I'm at right now so that I can move forward. And what I realized is that I was being given, and so many people were being given, these one-off tools like affirmations, which I love an affirmation. Love an affirmation. But that's one tool in a robust toolkit. So in the book, I really lay out a framework for people, how they can find themselves, be themselves out loud, stay themselves when life keeps lifing, because it will keep lifing, and then how they can want the self that they have.
Amazing. Katie, you are so inspiring, and we're just so thankful that you were able to find time in your busy schedule to join us here this morning on the show. For people who are really just have been captivated by you and your story, the way that I have, where can they go to learn more about you and follow along? I know you mentioned a podcast as well.
Yes.
And you're kind of all over with everything right now. And so where can we go to keep up with you and also get a copy of your book?
Yes, so they can go to wantyourself.com to find all of the places where the book is sold. They can also go to my platform that really started this whole thing, which is WANT, which stands for Women Against Negative Talk, and it gives a whole host of tips, tools, motivation, inspiration to shift your negative self-talk patterns. There's the podcast, the WANTcast, and they can find me on Instagram at Katie Horwitch.
Amazing. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Yes.
Good morning and welcome back to We Austin.